He and his crew piled out of the ship, aside from Tomi, who stayed behind to make sure the fueling and repairs went smoothly with the Sentinel maintenance techs that Commander Thandriel employed. That was usually their engineer Vasya's job, but she was out of commission at the moment. "I'll meet you at the Glaring Gecko for a drink once I'm done with this," Ixion said, already trailing away with the medics and Shaban. It wasn't their usual haunt for drinks, but it was a favorite for the medic, and Melias didn't mind indulging him. "Sounds good." "I might be absent," Lyra Tonvash said. She was a fellow Sentinel captain who was joining them for a spell while Vasya and Lyra's squad recovered from injuries. "My squad is recuperating here, and a few of them are well enough to be out and about, and well enough to drink, so I'm going to check in on them if you don't mind." He smiled. "Of course. Go be with your crew. If you want to meet up with us after, or have us join you, you know how to reach us." She flashed a toothy grin, her yellow eyes gleaming bright, and then she turned on her heels and strode away with a predator's grace. Lyra Tonvash was still someone who unnerved him a bit. Her people were sparse and mysterious, but she was growing on him a lot, and he would miss her when it was finally time for her to rejoin her crew and quest among the stars. From there, they all split up. Aaron and Ark went to get some supplies for the ship. Nummer looked over their inventory of weapons and armor, did his routine maintenance on them, and compiled a list of things they needed to replace or restock, and then went out to find what he could from the markets. Usually Tomi would help him, but she had her hands full with the ship maintenance and with repairing the droid, which some droid techs from Thandriel had come to help with. That left him and Nyath, and they had an appointment to keep. "Are you ready?" she asked as they marched to the lift that led up to the commander's office. "I used to be so at ease when we went to see Thandy, but now she scares me more than most things. So, no." I wonder whose fault that is," she mused, casting him a sideways glance with a half-smirk. He rolled his eyes. "You went along with it too, Nyath. I'm not the only guilty party here." "I never said you were, Captain." They took the lift up to the offices, passed through the hallway and the small courtyard where the tree of banners, adorned by the flags of wars and units past and different allegiances and squads, sat, and then went into the commander's office. One of her men stood outside with a gun on his hip and a bored look in his eyes as he surfed through his tablet. He did not appear to like being on guard duty. He recognized Melias and Nyath and nodded to the open office door, not saying a single word. Melias couldn't decide if it was a good sign or a bad one that her door was open to guests. Usually, Thandriel was a bit ornery when it came to being disturbed by those that were uninvited. That was a risk they had to take. Melias raked his knuckles against the door in a poor excuse of a knock and walked inside 2 steps. The low room was dim as always, the way Thandriel liked it. The low light cast through the windows from the distant markets did not give it a vibrant light, but almost a low neon glow that Melias could appreciate. "Come in," said the voice in the chair behind the desk ahead of them. The high back of the seat was turned to them, so the only thing they could see were the large wings folded against the chair and sticking out all around it. Thandriel was an Avi, a powerful race of humanoids with large wings and avian features. They were one of the oldest spacefaring races of the galactic community, and thus one of the most powerful and well-respected. She inspired loyalty and trust, and Melias did his best to stay in her good graces. Sometimes he failed. Sometimes he went against her wishes, but it always hurt him to do so. She swiveled in her seat to face them, her head still bowed as she read something on her tablet, face scrunched with displeasure. Whatever she was reading wasn't good, and he worried that telling her his news would only make it worse, but there was no getting around it. "Commander," he said, then cleared his throat. "We're back, and we have much to report." "Give me a quick recap. I've called a meeting of all my captains and called in a few other commanders from the surrounding cities."